Hi everyone, this is Heather from Buffering Saint, and I have joined the Catholic Book Club started by Heather over at A Catholic Mom's Life, and we may have a little visitor joining our video at some point. She's 7 months old, so right now she's safely occupied, but that only lasts so long with a 7-month-old, so she may be joining me at some point during the video. So I have, like I said, joined the summer book club that Heather has organized, and we are reading this book by Lisa Hindi. Hopefully I said that right. And basically what we're doing, it's a whole bunch of Catholic YouTubers, and we're releasing a new video every couple of days, like every 4 days or so. And it is basically, we're just going over a chapter at a time, and we're gonna talk about it. I'm not sure how the other YouTubers are going to do their videos or their chapters, so I'm kind of excited to watch and see. But all of their links to their videos and channels will be down below. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So like I said, we're doing this book. We're doing the first chapter. It's on marriage. And if you would like to join in reading the book along with us, you don't have to, but you definitely can. I got mine off of Amazon. Is that where most people get their books now? But I got mine off of Amazon for like $8 or something. So yeah, I'm excited. So like I said, okay, so the first chapter is on marriage. So me and my husband have been married for 5 years. We got married in 2012. Oh my gosh. We have been married for 6 years. Wow, okay. Time flies when you're having fun. So we got married in 2012, in March 10th, 2012. So yeah, we've been married for 6 years. We have 3 kids. We have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 7-month-old. And she's okay. We dated for a very long time before we got married. Okay, I'm just gonna have to hold her, sorry. You may see her every once in a while. This is Juliana, our youngest one. Me and my husband met in 2003 at Whataburger, which is the best burger place ever. So we met in 2003 at Whataburger. We were both working there. He was actually already working there, and I started working there, so that's how we met. He's a little bit older than me, so my mom didn't really like that very much, because we met, I was 16 and he was 19, but we didn't start dating right away. We didn't really start dating for like a year. So my mom loves him now, but it took her a while to get used to the idea. And we dated all through high school. Well, it was my senior year, he had already graduated. And then we dated through college. So we dated all through college, and we got married after we graduated, after we had both graduated, and now we're here. We have 3 kids. So he actually grew up Catholic. I was a Protestant growing up, non-denominational. So we used to have lots of lively conversations about it because I was kind of anti-Catholic before. So thanks to him, thanks to my husband, we are a Catholic family now. He introduced me to the Catholic faith. When we were dating, we would take turns going to each other's churches. So like one weekend we'd go to mine, the next week go to his. But once we were engaged, and actually when we got engaged, I still wasn't sure of if I wanted to be Catholic. I was still kind of like, no, I don't know about this. So once we got engaged, I finally like decided for sure that I wanted to become Catholic, and now we're all Catholic. So I went through confirmation. I went through RCIA, and I was confirmed about 3 months after we got married. And he was actually not confirmed. He was Catholic growing up, but he was actually not confirmed until like a month after me. So I kind of like to have fun with that and say that I was confirmed first. Back to the book. That's kind of like a background story about me and my husband. His name is Elvis. Yes, that's his real name. people ask him that all the time. First chapter, like I said, is about marriage, so I kind of wanted to just give y'all a little rundown on my relationship and my husband. And we were getting married. This chapter kind of reminded me a lot of our marriage prep class we took at our church that we ended up getting married in, called Unitas. And so like this chapter kind of really reminded me of that. And it reminded me of some things that I maybe had forgotten about, things that were supposed to be really important in a marriage that you can really lose track of when you're married, especially when you have kids and it's like you're not just focused on each other anymore, you're focused on raising future saints and hopefully doing a good job at it. This chapter was really good at reminding me of some things. So the first thing that she talked about, she kind of has it separated into 4 parts. And lessons, it says lessons she has learned, serve one another. And that's kind of what I had mentioned before. It's like when you have kids, you forget, you have like actual people who depend on you, little people running around that like depend on you to survive, and you forget that, oh, my husband is over here, I need to serve him as well, because I guess you get caught up in raising your children and you're like, my grown person over here just can take care of himself. But that's something that really should be focused on when you're married, because, and we talk about this, like we mention this every so often, like we don't live in a big house or anything. We have like a we have a 1-story, 3-bedroom house. And so we already have 3 kids. And I think, some people would say that we've grown out of our house and our kids are still little. And that might be true maybe when they get older. And we've kind of talked about it. I'm not interested in moving or upgrading to a bigger house. Like our house doesn't have like a massive amount of square footage or anything, but if you think about it, our kids are going to grow up and they're going to leave us, and if we upgrade to a bigger house, then we're going to be stuck in a bigger house by ourselves, and that's not really something that I'm interested in. And my kids can learn how to share rooms. That's kind of my stance on it. Because I don't know if we're going to have more kids or not. We're open to life for sure, but if we have more, then we'll have multiple kids sharing multiple rooms, possibly. But that's still not something that I'm interested in, is getting a bigger house. So we might just be here for a long time. I mean, if we move, if it's in God's plan, then we will. But at this point in our life, in our marriage, we're not really interested in moving or upgrading or anything like that. I went off on a tangent, so sorry. It is important to serve your husband, to remember that he is the person, my husband is the person who I'm going to be spending the rest of my life with. My children are going to grow up, they're going to get spouses or whatever their vocation is, and they're going to go live their life outside of my home, more than likely. So I need to remember to really focus on and nourish and nurture my relationship with my husband, because he should still be there for me and I should still be there for him once our kids are not here anymore. So it's important to remember to do that together. The other lesson that she talked about was keeping Christ at the center, and completely 100% agree. I learned that growing up. Me and my husband, like I said, not only religiously, but our family backgrounds are different. His family, his parents are still together. My parents are not together. I have, my mom and dad divorced when I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade, and both of them have remarried. So we have different backgrounds like that too. Growing up, I was non-denominational, and we did learn to keep Jesus at the center, especially I think when we got older and my mom was remarried to my stepdad. That was something that was like really kind of taught to us a lot, me and my sisters. We do have periods of time when that has been difficult for us to uphold. Me and my husband, when we first got married and I had first converted, and I was like super excited about being Catholic, because I never would have thought that I would have been Catholic ever in my whole life. So I was super excited about it. And then we would go to church every weekend, and we never missed Mass. And then we started having kids. I mean, Abby, my daughter, my oldest, was born like 10 months after we got married. So, you know, we didn't wait to have kids. We had kids pretty much like we were married, and the next month I was pregnant. Once that started happening, we would go a couple weeks at a time, even a couple of months at a time without going to church. And it's the more space you put in between the last time you went to church, it's like the harder it is to go back to church, because it's just, at that point, it's like, just stay home. I've been doing it for months anyway. So that is something that we have struggled with. We have been going to church regularly now for a while, but that is something that we both kind of work on together, is making sure that we encourage each other to get up and go to church. And also, when our relationship with God is different. So like my relationship, I would say, with God is more emotional and personal, and that maybe some of my non-denominational Protestant background, like, because that was something that we would say a lot, like, oh, it's not about religion, it's about a relationship. So I do tend to have a more emotional relationship with God, whereas my husband he's like really into apologetics, and he really likes learning about that stuff, and his relationship is kind of more technical. I don't really want to speak too much for him, because I honestly don't understand his relationship with God. So we actually talked about this a little bit, like maybe we could do a video where we talk with each other about it, or talk to you guys about it. But our relationships are different with God, and so I think that sometimes can be hard at times too, because I wish that his relationship was more like mine. And so and Kelly talked about this in her book, in this part where instead of me praying for him where he is in his relationship, I kind of have prayed about where I want him to be or how I want him to be. But his relationship, when I think about it, his relationship doesn't have to look like my relationship, because he is Catholic. He does his best to follow Jesus in his way, and it's not wrong. It's just not the same way that I've done it. And so I think that's something that I need to work on, just me personally, is making sure that I'm praying for his spiritual life and it growing however God wants it to grow, not how I want it to grow. Another thing that we could get better at, that we're really not good at, is praying together, because we do pray for each other separately. Like, I'll pray for him and he prays for me too, but we don't really pray together like we should. And that's definitely something that we need to get better at, because we have children and we need to set that example for them. Oh, the other thing that she said, and it kind of really put me in my place, because she said we should treat our husbands as if Jesus Christ is physically sitting in our house. Like, that's how we should treat our husbands. And so that is definitely something that I could get better at, because I tend to nag or nitpick, and he does the same thing to me. We do it to each other, let's be honest. We'll just nag or nitpick at each other, or we'll just talk sharply to each other. And we need to remember that is my spouse. That's the person I've chosen to spend the rest of my life with, and I need to treat him as if Jesus was sitting in the room with me. And when I was thinking about it, and I felt really bad. Like, I was almost crying. I was like, I'm just and I said sorry. I told him I'm sorry. I apologize. I learned this in Unitas, so I know these things, and it's just hard sometimes when you have children and you forget. So that is something that I'm going to work on also. And another thing she mentioned was playing together, like having fun together, and not necessarily needing to go on dates and going out to have fun together, because let's be real. I have 3 small children. They're 5 and under. We never get to go on dates. Like, once every 6 months, if we're lucky. Like, the last time we went on a date was March, but then before that, I don't even remember the last time we went on a date. I have no idea. So yeah, it just doesn't happen very often. So that doesn't necessarily mean going out, because our kids should see us like having fun and liking each other and like joking around or whatever. And so we do that. And I think we do that more at home, which is good. But sometimes we do get caught up where we're just like in the motions and we're just kind of like passing each other around, or it's like how she mentions in here, it's like a staff meeting where you're just making sure everything gets done how it's supposed to get done before the end of the day or for the next day or whatever. So we need to make sure that we're playing more and having fun with each other. And that's not just for our benefits, it's for the kids' benefit too. But the other ones she talks about are being generous with unspoken signs of love. So just doing things like, and I could do this more often. Man, this is really making me feel like a terrible wife. But I could do stuff like this more often, because I've done this before sometimes where like we have a Keurig instead of like a regular coffee pot. So we have a Keurig, so like sometimes, and it's just little things. It's nothing big, but like setting the alarm for the Keurig and then putting a little coffee pot in there. Or I remember this one Unitas couple, when we were in there, they said that the husband would always get up first, and so he would always put like the toothpaste on the toothbrush for her, so it would be ready when they got up, and I thought that was sweet. Or just picking up a chore that they don't like. Like my husband would probably fall over if I mowed the yard, because I have literally not mowed the yard since we moved into this house, and it's been about 5 years. He does it, and I've offered. It's not that I haven't offered. I'm like, oh, let me mow the yard for you. And he's like, no. Like, he thinks I don't know how to push a lawnmower or something. But, so he's always just taking that chore. But if he would, like, do the dishes for me, that would be amazing. I would not argue at all. And he does. He's done that before for me, and I very much appreciate it. Like, just picking up a chore for each other, or just little things that you can do to show them that you love them. That's not necessarily saying I love you. It's like doing it. It's like acting on it, which is what we're called to do, right? As Catholics. The other thing is getting help when you're broken. And we haven't really had this in our marriage yet. Hopefully we don't, but marriage is hard. So at some point we might, but just whenever you feel like, when you hit like a really rough patch in your marriage and you feel like nothing you're doing is working, and just being able to reach out, and whether it's marriage counseling or speaking to your priest and he can point you in the right direction, just talking to somebody about it. And I really had never felt like, oh my God, I can't do this as like a wife or a mother. Until we had our third baby. Like the first one, not so bad. The second one, okay, there's still two of us there's like one of us per child, so it's still not so bad. But man, when we had this third one, and she's not even a hard baby. She's not a hard baby at all. But it was just like, Abby was in school now, at that point now, and Jonah was going to daycare. So it was just like, oh my gosh. What are we doing? Why did we do this? The daycare bill is going up now. And it's just, I have never felt like I can't until at that point. And that was, I don't know, maybe, I wouldn't say I had postpartum depression, but it was just at times got kind of like overwhelming in that. So I love all my children. I would never trade them in for the world. I love having babies. Like, I don't necessarily love the process of being pregnant. Like, I'm not one of those people, but I love having like a baby to cuddle. So that was pretty much that chapter. That was what that chapter was about. And I kind of just wanted to give my feedback and my perspective on it too. And I really like the homework she gave us. She gives us homework at the end of each chapter. So the homework in this chapter is to recall your celebration of the rite of marriage. Talk about the readings that we did, together, maybe make a CD of the music, talk about it with your children. So that sounds, look at pictures, so we'll probably do that. The other ones that I thought were a good idea were to go to your church that you got married in, or like to adopt a special church if you don't live close to that church, to go to mass every year to celebrate your anniversary, and to pick a couple of things that y'all like to do together. Take a walk. She says take a walk, watch his favorite sport together. My husband doesn't really watch sports, so I guess I would have to sit and watch him play video games. I could do that. Or take a small home project. Let me tell you, our garage is a mess, and that would be the project that I would choose, is to fix our garage, get rid of a lot of stuff. So maybe we can do that. And then just sitting quietly with each other, like just enjoying each other's company, was another way that we can enjoy time together. A couple other things she had was going and talking to somebody, to a couple who's been married for a while, get some wisdom from them, and just smiling and loving your husband. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you have to love your husband, and I mean, there are times when it's difficult to even like my husband because we're arguing or whatever, but I love him, and divorce has never been an option. And I always joke with him about that, like, well, you know what? You converted me to Catholicism, and now we're married, and we're never gonna get divorced, so you're stuck with me forever. So we kind of just joke about it. But yeah, that was my first video for the Catholic Summer Book Club. I'm super excited to be doing it. There's another video coming out June 7th, I think. I think we're doing them on Mondays and Thursdays. So this one comes out June 4th. It'll be uploaded, and then my next one will be out June 7th. The next video is about motherhood, so that will be fun. But I'm super excited to see what everybody else does for their videos, and hopefully my video is not super long. But super excited to see where this goes, and hoping to make some new friends along the way. If you like my videos, subscribe, push the bell so you can be notified when my new one comes out on Thursday, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.